Erie County Republican Chairman Nick Langworthy, thank you for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure.
So earlier this year, and we're at the Republican State Convention right now, earlier this year there was a lot of chatter out in Western New York about getting Donald Trump to run for governor. And now obviously we have Rob Astorino, who at this convention will be nominated to run for governor. What are your thoughts on Rob and in his new lieutenant governor pick?
I'm 1,000% behind Rob. I think his choice of Chris Moss as our lieutenant governor candidate is excellent. It's going to energize the party further. I think Rob is doing a terrific job on the trail, really pointing out the flaws with the Cuomo administration. I mean, the fact that Rob has established that dialogue of asking New Yorkers and taxpayers, are we winning or are we losing? I think that's really resonating with people, especially in Western New York, where I see people every day. I think Rob is really making some ground in this race, and he's just doing a great job. I think this is going to be an excellent show of unity of our party behind our nominees.
From the people that you've spoken with in Western New York, what's Rob's profile like in Western New York right now? What do people think of him, and how well known is he? He's
still developing that profile. It comes slow. I mean, he's not a household name probably anywhere in the state quite yet. But as this race goes on, and the more people that he gets in front of, he's traveled to Western New York a bunch of times already. He's starting to crack into that armor that Andrew Cuomo thought was impervious to assault. So I think that. As Rob continues and the more people that get to hear what he's about, what he stands for, we have a great shot to win this race in November.
The SAFE Act is an important thing all across the state, but when we talk about Western New York, how much of an impact do you think that has on this governor's race and in a lot of races in general?
Well, we have the governor who I believe is obsessed with Buffalo and Western New York and trying to improve upon his results in 2010, where Carl Palladino carried the 8 counties of Western New York. The SAFE Act is also, I believe Western New York is the capital of the SAFE Act opposition. I mean, we have had huge rallies. We've had a lot of activism. I've seen an unprecedented amount of people get involved in Republican politics and campaigns and enroll to vote in response to the SAFE Act. I mean, it is really polarized and shown if you support the Second Amendment, the Republican Party is the choice for you. And I think it's going to help us motivate voters, get them out to vote for our ticket led by Rob Astorino and Chris Moss.
Moving to the policy side of things, you recently made some comments regarding medical marijuana legislation. Just kind of recap and tell me a little bit about what your idea is there and what you're looking for.
Well, the more I got to know about the Compassionate Care Act, it changed. I never had a formal position on the issue, but what I saw, I was probably a natural no on the topic. But the more I got to know about the issue, and there's a particular family in Orchard Park, the Conti family, and their daughter suffers from a rare disorder. And the doctors have determined that the seizures that are very debilitating and have affected the entire family so much are best treated with the oils of medicinal marijuana. And the fact that this family may have to leave New York State to go acquire that treatment that their daughter needs, I think it's crazy. I mean, this is something that will help people. It provides a compassionate solution. I mean, we're prescribing people pain medications that are narcotics every day. And if a doctor sees that medicinal marijuana is a better solution for their patients, they should have the right to prescribe it in whatever form. And we shouldn't be picking diseases, winners and losers, and who should qualify for this. There needs to be tight controls, which is outlined in the Compassionate Care Act. I mean, seed to sale is a program where it's tracked right down to the plant with barcodes and full security. We don't want to become California, where you can just say, oh, I have a childhood dodgeball injury, I should have medicinal marijuana. You need to have purpose. You need to have a doctor on your side. And this also would create an industry that we don't have right now that could help create jobs in upstate New York. You need dispensaries, you need agricultural components to grow the medicinal marijuana. I think it provides an opportunity to grow jobs in upstate. That's not the sole reason, but we need to be compassionate, and I think Republicans have a stigma of the party of no, and I think you're going to hear a lot at this convention that we do stand for something. We don't just stand against everything. I believe the Compassionate Care Act is one way that Republicans can join people on the other side of the aisle and people of all affiliations and show that we do stand for something. We're compassionate people that want to see people get helped.
Republican Senator Joe Robach just became the first to say yes and sign on to the Compassionate Care Act. Have you spoken with other Republican senators or members of the Assembly about passing this legislation and getting it done?
I've spoken to the senators and Assembly members in Western New York and that go into Erie County. I've talked to Senator Maziarz, who's not a sponsor, but a supporter, as well as Senator Grisani, who is also in favor of the bill. I hope more Republicans in both the Assembly and the Senate sign on to the Compassionate Care Act, because I think it's good public policy. It's open-minded for the Republican Party to look at this issue and broaden our base. I mean, look at the public opinion polling. 85% of New Yorkers think that this is a smart solution. 85% of the people don't normally sign on to anything, and this makes sense from a public policy perspective for New York State, and it could help us grow our party.
Is this something that you think can get done by the end of June?
I hope so. I hope more Republicans will help this get to the floor in its current form. It's a show of bipartisanship. It will show that the Republican Party is open to providing a real compassionate solution to people that need it.
Nick Langworthy, thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much.